listening to an audio article by the Common Constitutionalist. Today's article is entitled, Janet Yellen Sees Nothing Wrong with Massive Entitlement Spending. In 2015, about 65% of the entire federal budget of $3.8 trillion was spent on entitlements like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, housing assistance, and such. But this can't possibly be the cause of national debt and permanent deficit spending. No, of course not. It's the Trump's tax cuts that are killing us. The fact that they're only months old is completely immaterial. The socialist Nanny-State has been constructed over a period of about 80 years, whereas tax cuts have been few and far between, happening only 4 times since JFK initiated the first. Yet we are expected to believe that it is not entitlements which are blowing up the budget, but tax cuts. Now, what idiot would believe such a thing? Unfortunately, considering the source of the claim, many will tend to believe such a ridiculous assertion. And the source is none other than Janet Yellen, former chief of the Federal Reserve. She also served as chair of President Bill Clinton's Council of Economic Advisors, so she's got that going for her. Yellen recently penned an op-ed in the Washington Post along with 4 other economists entitled, quote, "A debt crisis is coming, but don't blame entitlements," unquote. All 5 are former members of the White House Council of Economic Advisors for either Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. In other words, all 5 are leftist political swamp dwellers. And naturally, these esteemed economists, probably all Keynesian, would never blame government entitlement spending. Tax cuts, on the other hand, deprive government of needed funds. Now, long, long ago, in a nation seemingly far, far away, Ben Franklin wrote, quote, "I am doing good to the poor, but I think the best way of doing good to the poor is not making them easy in poverty, but leading or driving them out of it. I observed that the more public provisions were made for the poor, the less they provided for themselves, and of course became poorer. And on the contrary, the less that was done for them, the more they did for themselves and became richer," unquote. Those days are long ago extinct. We now treat the poor in an entirely different manner, and it's mostly due to a simple change in language. The left effectively won this argument, as they often do, just by commanding the language we use. Social Security was the original entitlement, owing to the fact that at least one paid into the system, so therefore was entitled to withdraw from it at a later date. But today, all government giveaways, assistance, and welfare are now entitlements. And what makes people think that they are entitled to other people's money? A simple shift in language. Those who control the language control the dialogue and ultimately the agenda. A good explanation of this control of agenda is baseline budgeting, where the government's baseline or floor for spending automatically increases every year. With this system, there can be no debate about cutting spending or shrinking government. The baseline is set, and there is no dispute beyond how much or how little the budget will grow, and it never grows just a little. The same can be said of entitlements. The word entitlement has become the baseline. Once this word was established as the baseline for all government assistance, there can be no debate beyond how much to increase that which is already entitled. Thank you for listening.